Hey, I want to show you a quick two things in this Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson video that you can use to improve your people skills, but are also really entertaining to watch. Over the years, Elon Musk has been someone who I've pointed out a lot of mistakes that he has made in interviews, but he's gotten a lot better. And in this video, he's actually the one that I'm going to point out doing some very veteran things. But first, let's start with old Jordan Peterson. And I feel bad for him. 5 years ago, I really liked a lot of his content, but I feel like after he had that whole public pushback a little over a year ago, and I think he had some health problems, he just seems like a different person. Like it seems like, and notice when we watch this, it seems like he's always on the defensive. Like anyone's asking him a normal question, it sounds like someone's getting bullied at the playground. He's like, well, this and this and this. And they're like, well, what do you think about this? And immediately he's like, well, the people, they always come at me like this and they're wrong. Like he just immediately shows so much anxiety and defensiveness. Unfortunately, he does this in this video. And watch at the beginning, he talks about how excited he is to be there and how much time he spent researching this.
So the first thing I'd like to say is that it's ridiculously exciting to be here.
You're most welcome to be here.
This is quite the amazing place, and I've been preparing to talk to you for a long time.
So, and I believe that, but unfortunately, he's so worked up and he's so giddy that he's not able to conduct or hold or be part of a good interview. And I'll show you exactly what happens right now. So let's dive into the first thing I want to talk about, the mistake that he makes. Elon Musk starts talking about a son. Watch what happens and tell me if you can spot the mistake that Jordan Peterson makes. Let's see if you can spot it, detective.
I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he did.
That was a lie right from the outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety and not because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that too. And
you see what I mean? All right. He worked himself up. It's not true. It's not true. So what do you think the mistake was there that Jordan Peterson made? Okay, so Elon Musk was being very vulnerable there, but Jordan Peterson felt so passionate about the subject that he had to jump in and cut him off, okay? So the sad part that I brought up at the beginning is Jordan Peterson is on his side. He feels so passionately that Elon Musk was wronged and what he's doing now is right that he wanted to jump in and voice his support, but it was an inappropriate time. In that sense, when Elon Musk is being very vulnerable, telling a tragic story, it doesn't matter how much you agree with the person, you need to let them speak. This is the important point. It's more important to let them speak than for you to voice your support at that time. But what your emotions are telling you are, oh my God, I agree with him so much. He needs to know this is a hard time. It's a hard thing he's going through. He's going to love to have someone on his side. But instead of that, I guarantee Elon Musk felt like, geez, talking over me when I'm saying something like this. And then he works himself up. You can see.
I see. So you're telling parents that.
So now he's going to this whole pontification, right? And the thing is, like I said, they're on the same side, but an inappropriate time to bring that up. So what you can learn from that is if you ever feel very emotional about something, realize that you have a higher propensity to say something at the wrong time. Be cool, voice your time. It would have been much more better received if he would have waited for Elon Musk to finish the story. And then I'm sure he had some concluding thoughts about the story and what he was doing because of it. And then come in and say, that's actually something I feel very passionate about because this, and this. And then he can get himself worked up and show the agreement. But this was not the appropriate time to do that.
They might completely die out.
So I've been thinking about that in relationship to sacred images.
Okay.
Okay, well, the same.
All right. So, okay, let's jump into the thing that Elon Musk does that's good. And by the way, if this stuff interests you, I have a whole program called the Social Invincibility Program where I'll teach you to be able to dissect this stuff. So like when you watch people interact, you'll have an understanding about that most people will never have. It's kind of cool to be able to see behind the scenes and know how to operate. I'll put a link behind that below or a link up here. But Elon Musk is talking about population collapse And okay, let's just watch this again, and then you think about it, and then I'll tell you what my thoughts are. It's hilarious.
So I always preface by saying if these trends continue, most countries will dwindle into insignificance. They might completely die out.
So I've been thinking about that in relationship to sacred images.
Okay.
Okay, well, the sacred image of masculinity in the West is a crucifixion. But
So
a man.
I've been thinking about that in relationship to sacred images. Okay, that is such an unbelievably wild pivot. Like he's talking about population collapse, and Jordan Peterson is pivoting into something that is so very tangentially associated. It very easily could have been something that he laughed at. But what did Elon Musk do? A very pro move. He gets uncomfortable, and because you see he does it with his hands. One of the things that people do when they're uncomfortable, cover their hands. If they also don't go like this immediately when they get uncomfortable, they go like this. But he covers his hands. If you cover your neck, that's a big sign of discomfort. Back of the neck is discomfort. And look what Elon Musk does. Even though he behaves coolly with his voice, even though listen to his tone of voice, he's like, okay. It's not that exaggerated, but it's clearly not something where he's like, yeah, I've been thinking about that too. But watch what he does with his hands when he covers his body here. I've been thinking about the sacred, this in relationship to sacred imagery.
Most countries will dwindle into insignificance. They might completely die out.
So I've been thinking about that in relationship to sacred images.
Okay.
Okay, well, the sacred image of masculinity in the West is a crucifixion.
So that was a very pro move, and now he lets him talk. And the
woman
critiques online are that, unfortunately, Jordan Peterson he had an amazing opportunity to talk with Elon Musk, one of the hardest people to get the time of, and he just talked through the whole thing, talked over him, took very little input, was so adamant about voicing his opinions. And the thing is, another thing you can apply in your life is when we're with someone we admire or someone we feel like has high status, we want them to think we're cool. We want to share our best ideas with them, which is what Jordan Peterson clearly wanted to do. But in doing so, he was trying too hard. If he would have let things come to him, piped in a little more sparingly, let Elon Musk talk, the more the other person talks, the more perfectly you can interject your own thoughts. Versus if you're just constantly throwing passes at every single route, you're not selective. So you're going to get some that are good and some aren't. If he would have just sat back in the cut and the quarterback, waited for that perfect one, it would have been way more impressive to Elon Musk. But once again, this is something that our body and our minds tell us not to do. Show him you're cool. Show him you're on your side. Tell this story that, I got this great story. I just don't sit on this. And maybe you have to interrupt him, but who cares? He's going to be so impressed when you say this. Even though that's the way it feels, that's not the way it's received. Don't make that mistake.